Hello everyone, I am Akhil Rajaratnam and welcome to today's daily news analysis. So these are the four topics which I have picked for today's daily news analysis. So one is related to wetland conservation, mainstreaming wetland conservation. This is from the editorial page of Hindu. So here we'll be discussing what are the strategies to integrate the wetland conservation into the policy and development. Next one is the steps that will shape India's AI ambition. So here we'll be discussing what are the key challenges and what are the key initiatives in India's journey towards AI leadership. Third one is related to ISRO's Aditya-L1 mission. So ISRO's Aditya-L1 mission unlocks solar flare secrets with new image. So this is related to an update in this ISRO's mission. Okay. So we'll be discussing what is Aditya-L1 and what are the important payloads in this particular mission. Okay. Last one is related to the avalanche which happened in Uttarakhand. So 22 people went missing. So we'll be discussing what are the technical terms, what are avalanche, what is an avalanche, what are the bodies involved in this disaster management. All these things we'll be discussing. Okay, all right. So these are the four topics for today. So we'll start with a simple quiz related to RBI. Okay, so what is the name of the committee that recommended the creation of RBI? Malhotra Committee, Hilton Young Commission, Narasimham Committee, and Rajan Committee. Okay, so you can post your answers in the chat box. So we'll be discussing the answer of this particular question by the end of the session. Okay, all right. So moving on to okay, these are some of our programs which we are introducing. One is a 110-day self-study planner for UPSC. Okay, so you can scan this QR code and you can download our app Narana IAS Academy. It is available both in Android as well as App Store, Apple App Store. So in that we have actually introduced something known as a 110 days self-study plan for UPSC. So based on this, you can create. It will be helping you for create it better, create it for preparation better. Okay, all right. All right, so these are the other two products which we are introducing. One is a 1-year prelims comes mains program, mains integrated course. So this is for the students who are aiming the 2026 examination, UPSC Civil Service examination, and we have the 2-year prelims comes mains integrated course. So this is for the students who are aiming the 2027 examination. Okay, so we'll be providing you with 800 plus hours of general studies and CSAT. Both will be completely online class, and also we'll be having 200 hours of current affairs class will also be there, and we'll be providing you with a micro schedule so that it will be breaking down the syllabus even more easier, and we'll be having expert faculty for all the subjects. Okay, and obviously testing is also very much important. Testing is also very much important. So we have both practice tests for both prelims as well as mains. Okay, all right. So these are the programs. So moving on to first topic. First topic, it's related to the wetland conservation. It's from today's today's Hindu editorial. So recently, a suo motu public interest litigation was put in the Meghalaya High Court. So that was taken very recently to monitor the conservation of wetlands in this state. Okay, so this brings the focus back to the important ecosystem, that is a wetland. So in today's discussion, we are going to learn everything about wetlands. So what are the types of wetlands, what is the importance of wetlands, and more regarding what are the threats of wetlands, and as well as the initiatives in this wetland conservation. Okay, so we'll start with the PYQ. Again, this is coming in the GS paper 3. Okay, conservation of environment. Okay, all right. So previous year question related to wetland, a direct question from the wetland itself. What is wetland, and explain the Ramsar concept of wise use in context of wetland conservation. Very direct question from the wetland itself. Okay. All right. So we'll start with what is actually a wetland. Okay. So understanding wetland is very much crucial because they provide ecological, economic, and even the social benefits. Okay. So we have to understand what is a wetland in detail. Okay. So basically, wetlands are areas where water saturates the land. Water saturates the land. It can either be permanent saturation or it can either be seasonal saturation. Permanent means some water body is going through that, then it will be a permanent saturation. Seasonal means what? Some rain is only happening at that time, only it's getting saturated. That is also considered as a wetland. Okay, so what are the characteristics of wetland? Wetland is characterized by the presence of aquatic plants will be there. Okay, aquatic plants will be there. It's different from the sea. Marine plants are it's different from the terrestrial one. So this will be a different set of aquatic plants will be there, and also the soil conditions are also very much unique. For example, take the condition of marshes, swamps will be there, bogs will be there, and even sometimes man-made fish ponds will be there, even rice paddy fields where we used to cultivate the paddy. So that is also considered as a wetland, and even wetland is also sometimes called as a kidneys of earth, sometimes known as a kidneys of earth. So what is actually the purpose of a kidney? Kidney of earth. Okay, so what is the purpose of a kidney? Kidney is actually filtering the pollutants in our body. Kidney is something, an organ which filters the pollutants in our body. Okay, so basically wetlands are also doing the same thing only. Wetland will be filtering the pollutants in the earth, okay, or in that particular area. Okay, so that is why it is known as the kidneys of earth. Okay. Alright, so there are some important types of wetland. Many types of wetlands are there. These are some of the important classifications of wetland. One is marine or coastal wetland. Marine or coastal wetland, it's very close to the sea. For example, coastal lagoons will be there. Even rocky shores will be there, and even coral reefs also we can consider as wetlands. Coral reefs. Okay, so that is marine or coastal wetland. Okay, other one is estuarine wetland. Okay, we all know what is an estuary. Estuary means the tidal mouth. For example, the river will be coming here. The river will be coming here, and okay, so river will be coming here, and here sea will be there. Okay, sea will be there, and here river will be there. Okay, so these tidal mouths are known as estuaries. Tidal mouths are known as estuaries. So wetlands in that area, that we call it as a tidal, in the tidal mouth of a large river, we call it as a estuarine wetland. For example, in this areas mostly deltas will be there. Deltas will be there, or maybe tidal marshes will be there. Even sometimes mangrove swamps will also be there. Okay, the place where the rivers meet the sea. Okay, so that we call it as a estuarine wetland. Estuarine wetland. Another important type of wetland is a lacustrine wetland. Okay, lacustrine wetland. So this is, like the name suggests, it is associated with lakes. Okay, marine means it is associated with sea. Lacustrine, lake. Okay, associated with lakes. For example, freshwater marshes will be there. Even along the lake margins, sometimes you can see the wetlands. So all these things we can include in this lacustrine wetlands. Okay. Other than that, we have the riverine wetland, properly in the river. Along the river side itself, you can see the wetlands. So that we call it as a riverine wetlands. Other one is a palustrine wetland. Palustrine wetland. So these are inland wetlands. For example, like inland marshes will be there, inland swamps will be there. We have discussed like fens will be there. So all these things will be included in the palustrine wetlands. Okay. Again, after that we have the human-made wetlands. I've already discussed what is human-made wetland. For example, for cultivation of paddy, we are actually having a rice paddy field will be there. Again, that is also acting as a wetland only. Salt pans will be there. For extraction of salt, we have salt pans will be there. That will also be there. If we have reservoirs will be there. Some sort of dammed reservoirs will be there. So that also can be considered as a wetland. Okay, so these are the some of the classification of wetland. I'm not saying that this is an entire classification, but still some of the classifications of the wetland. Okay, so wetlands are very much essential for maintaining the balance in the nature. So that is why wetland ecosystem is very much important, and even it is known as a kidney of the kidneys of the earth itself. Okay, so we'll see what are the multiple ways in which this wetlands are important for the earth itself. Okay, all right. So one is ecological significance, very much important. Ecological significance. Wetlands actually provided home to variety of flora as well as fauna, especially this migratory birds and even the aquatic species. So that is why it is known as that is one of the ecological significance of that. And another one we have already discussed, that is it is acting as a kidney. It is acting as a kidney of earth. For example, it is providing a natural filter. Natural filter means it will be removing the dirt or even the chemicals, before it flows to the rivers. For example, from this wetland, terrestrial ecosystem will be there. Okay, yeah, here it will be terrestrial ecosystem will be there. Okay, so here wetlands will be there. Wetland will be there. Here, it will be either river or maybe later it will be sea will be there. Okay, so from the terrestrial ecosystem, it is going here. Okay, so this is acting as a filter. This is acting as a filter. So this will be filtering out all the toxins. It will be filtering out all the toxins, and again the pure water is only flowing through the river, and finally it will be reaching the sea. Okay, so one layer of filtration is happening in this wetland. So that is very much important, and that makes this wetlands very much ecologically significant also. Okay. All right. Next one, it is having economic values. Okay, it's having economic value. Why? Because again, one more thing. Again, sometimes carbon dioxide sequestration is also happening in this wetlands. Why? Because in the mangroves and all, mangroves are very much important for storing the carbon. Okay, storing the carbon means obviously it is helping in reduction of the global warming, trapping the greenhouse gases. Okay. All right. Another one is economic value. Economic value. Many people earn their living from this wetland. For example, wetland fishing is very important. Wetland fishing and even tourism. Wetland has a very good potential for the tourism. If you go to the backwaters in Kerala and all, Kerala backwaters is very important. So for tourism, okay. So like that way, it's having an economic values also there. Some plants which are growing in these wetlands, they'll be having some medicinal properties will be there. That some other plants will be taken for making the basket and maybe some other products also. So like that way, it is having some economic values also there. Okay. Another one is the social as well as the cultural importance of these wetlands. Some people, for example, some tribal people and all, their cultures or maybe their traditions are also associated with this wetlands, and even sometimes it is considered as very much sacred also, and sometimes some historical significance is also for this, therefore this particular wetland. So in this way also wetland is very much important, and also like cultural social significance in sense, it will be promoting activities like bird watching will be there in this wetlands and all, like we have discussed, a lot of flora as well as fauna will be there. So like that way, bird watching will be there, people come here for a recreational purpose. So like that way, that purpose is also uh, there for wetland. Okay. Another one very important, that is a disaster risk reduction. Okay. Sometimes it is known as, these wetlands are known as a sponge of earth. Okay. Why sponge of earth? Because excess floods and all will be absorbed by this wetland. So that is also, so basically this wetlands will be acting as a shield, reducing the impact of the floods, even storms also. For example, mangrove forest will be there. So this mangrove forest will be reducing the impact of the storms and even the coastal erosion, that's also being there. Okay. So like that way, many important aspects are there for this wetland. Okay. And even during heavy rains and all, this wetlands absorb excess water, or maybe even the dirt from flowing through the river. So that is also the overflowing of rivers, that's also being um, discussed. Okay. All right. So now let's have a look at the wetlands in India. Okay. This is general regarding the wetlands. What are the, all over the world, what is actually the importance of the wetland. Okay. Now coming to Indian, we'll see some Indian statistics of wetland. So if you come to India, we have approximately 58.2 million hectares in India. Approximately 58.2 million hectares in hectare of land in India is actually uh, wetlands. That is approximately 4.5% of the total country's land area. 4.5% of the total country's land area, or maybe 58.2 million hectares of the total country's land area is actually wetlands. Okay. Another important thing is again the biodiversity as well as economic significance. Many migratory birds, for example, like flamingo and all. If you go to Andhra Pradesh and all, flamingo festival. Even in this Pulikat Lake itself, they will be conducting this flamingo festival. Siberian cranes will be there. These birds also visit. Migratory birds usually visit these wetlands, especially maybe once or twice. Yeah. Okay. And also many other species of like fish, crabs, and even other aquatic species also, they also thrive in this wetlands. Okay. And obviously that will again lead to the economic activities. For example, like rice farming will be there, local fisheries will be there. So that thing is also there. Okay. Obviously now you might have understood why we have to conserve this wetlands. Okay. Same reasons only. We'll again go through that, why we have to conserve this wetlands, because main thing is biodiversity preservation. So many sometimes this in this flora and fauna, many rare as well as endangered species will also be there. So they will be depending entirely on this wetlands only. So if the wetlands disappear, means obviously these species will also be disappearing. They'll also be under the risk of extinction. So that is also there. Okay. Another one is sustainable livelihood. Wetlands are associated with the daily life of the people. For example, the fishermen, or maybe farmers, or maybe the artisans. I've already mentioned, like some of them rely on the these plant products to make this basket and all. They rely on this plant, so that their livelihood is also very much tied up with this wetland. So that is also one of the reasons why we need to conserve this wetland. Okay. And also this wetland provide uh, even food resources will also be there. Irrigation water, drinking water, so that is also part of it. Another one is climate change mitigation. So wetlands again play a very crucial role in the carbon storage. Like I mentioned, carbon storage. For example, like the mangrove forest and all, it's very important for the storage of carbon. So obviously, carbon storage, or maybe if it's acting as a carbon sink, means it will be able to regulate the global temperature and thereby the global warming itself, and obviously thereby the climate change itself. So that's also another important thing. So basically, they help maintain a temperature balance by cooling the surrounding region. Okay. Another important thing is water security. Water security. So wetlands filter the pollutants from the water, so making it more clear and even safer for drinking as well as farming. So obviously, it will indirectly it is actually helping to replenish the groundwater, and obviously ensuring the water ability, especially in this dry seasons and all. Normally, the areas will be very dry, but if wetlands are there, means it will be creating something. Okay, so that is also there. But respective of all these needs, wetlands are facing a lot of threats. That is also there. Okay, so we'll see what are the important threats which these wetlands are facing. They are mostly, these wetlands are disappearing in this area. It can either be due to human activities or due to the other some other natural activities which are leading to climate change. So we'll see what are some of the important major threats for this wetland. One is urbanization. Urbanization. For example, cities are expanding. Cities are expanding, and when cities are expanding, one of the major issues with the cities is the drainage system. Okay, so again, cities expand, and it leads to drainage as well as the reclamation of this wetlands. Why reclamation of wetlands? Because cities means obviously we need infrastructure development will be. So these wetlands will be cut off, and more infrastructure will be made on this area. For example, many wetlands have been in some of the major cities, some of the major tier 2, tier 3 cities and all, they are actually being constructed on this wetland areas only. Okay, some buildings are also, we can see in the news and all, some buildings are also the court will be saying that this was a wetland area, so we have to demolish that building. So that is also happening. Okay, another thing is agricultural activities. So this conversion of wetlands into farmlands, not talking about the rice paddy field, but other farmlands, it will be made into other farmlands, and even there itself use of excessive fertilizers will also be there. So all these things will be causing the habitat loss as well as pollution in that area. Okay, obviously coming to pollution, industrial pollution is also something very much important. For example, near to these wetlands and all, some industries will be there, so their discharge, the industrial effluent discharge is also going to this particular ecosystems only. Okay, so that's also very much important. Another one is climate change. Climate change again, it has altered the precipitation levels, and even sometimes floods will be areas where floods are not common. The floods will be there. Areas where that yeah areas where it is dry, it is becoming more dry. So like that way, it has inverse many of the patterns also. Okay, another thing is the invasion of the species which are not native to that area. Non-native species can completely outnumber the native flora and fauna. Again, that's also disrupting the ecological balance of that particular area. Okay, so realizing that the overall in the globe itself, these kind of threats are happening. These kind of threats are happening to most of the wetlands. There was actually calls for global conservation efforts. So realizing all these things, all this threat, global conservation efforts have been started to recover these wetlands. Okay, so one of the major initiative in this regard is the Ramsar Convention. Okay, Ramsar Convention. So Ramsar Convention is actually an international treaty that was signed in 1971. Okay, it was signed in 1971. Ramsar Treaty was signed in 1971. Ramsar is actually a city in Iran. Ramsar is a city in Iran. Okay. So again, why they have created this? Because to protect the wetlands worldwide. So protect the wetlands worldwide. So they have come up with some objectives also. It's a global treaty only, right? So obviously one of the objective will be international cooperation, to encourage international cooperation in the wetland conservation. So global treaty means all countries has to contribute to protect this wetland, promote the wise use of wetland. Okay, it should not be used for, it should not be, wetlands should not be exploited. Okay, even if you are coming about something like the tourism also, it should not be, it should be sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism, It should not go to the levels in which the entire wetland itself is getting affected. So that's also important. Another one, to designate wetlands of international importance. Okay, designate wetlands of international importance. We call it as a Ramsar sites because this treaty was signed in the Iranian city of Ramsar. Okay, so for they have created Ramsar sites. Okay, so basically Ramsar sites are wetlands of international um, importance. Okay, so they are designated sites worldwide itself. They have designated sites, and here is the statistics as of October 2024. Recent latest statistics. 172 countries are party to the convention. 172 countries are party to the convention, and we have 2,521 Ramsar sites, including sites in India. We have 2,521 Ramsar sites covering 257 million hectares of area globally. 257 million hectares of area globally. Okay. India is also a signatory to this Ramsar Convention. This was in 1971. India joined in 1985. India joined in 1982. And India is having 89 Ramsar sites. India joined in 1982, and India is having, as per the later statistic, India is having 89 Ramsar sites. 89 Ramsar sites as of 2025. Little more later statistics. Okay. All right. Again, another important, we have discussed what is this Ramsar site. Okay, another important record is also there. Under this Ramsar site, a different registry is also there. Register of the sites, Ramsar sites facing high ecological threats, very heavy ecological threat, especially due to human activities like pollution, or maybe other environmental changes. So these sites we call it as Montreux record. Okay, so this is a new register coming within the Ramsar sites itself, facing heavy ecological threats, mainly due to the human activity. So this was adopted in 1990 to prioritize conservation effort towards a degraded wetlands. Okay, so globally they have listed a lot of wetlands. So in India we have two wetlands are listed in this. Okay, one is the Keladio National Park in Rajasthan. It was listed in 1990. What were the issues? One was water scarcity. Another one was habitat degradation. Okay, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site also, Keladio National Park. Another one is the Loktak Lake. Loktak Lake in Manipur. Again, this was listed in 1993. What were the reasons? One is pollution, encroachment, and even the hydrological changes in the water graphics of that particular area. Okay, one more place was there, that was a Chilka Lake. That was Chilka Lake in Odisha. That was Chilka Lake in Odisha. Okay, but due to many conservation efforts, due to the successful restoration of that particular area, so the Chilka Lake was removed from the list. As of now, we have only two areas in this Montreux record. Okay, so again we have discussed the global initiative, mainly the Ramsar Convention. So India has also, following this, India has also come up with many initiatives which are aligning with the Ramsar Convention for wetland conservation. Okay, so one is a national plan for conservation of aquatic ecosystem. National plan for conservation of aquatic ecosystem. So this is basically a centrally sponsored scheme brought in by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, basically for wetland conservation alone. Okay. All right. Next one is a wetland conservation and management rules. This was brought in 2017. This was brought in 2017. Okay, 2017. So this basically provides a legal framework for wetland protection. Okay. Another one, we don't have an act. You can see that we don't have an act regarding wetland. These are rules only, not the proper statutory mechanism is not there. Okay, so National Wetland Inventory and Assessment. National Wetland Inventory and Assessment. Again, this is something which is conducted by ISRO. The purpose is to map and study the wetlands, to make a repository of this wetlands and to map it properly. Okay, next one is National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change. National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change. Again, this supports the climate resilient wetland restoration projects. Okay, so basically this is a finance mechanism for climate change initiatives. Okay, next one is state level wetland conservation program. State level wetland conservation program. Again, many states they have implemented that. For example, if you take Kolkata, East Kolkata wetlands will be the EKWMA. EKWMA. East Kolkata, the conservation of East Kolkata, we have East Kolkata wetland program. Another one is CDA. Again, this is we have discussed. So based on this only, Chilka Lake was removed from that thing. Okay, CDH for Chilka Lake. And again in Manipur we have the Loktak Lake. So we have LDA. Okay, LDA for conservation of the Loktak Lake in uh, Manipur. Okay, so this will be managing the wetland conservation in that area. Okay, another one is a broader plan, that is a National Biodiversity Action Plan. National Biodiversity Action Plan. Okay, so this focuses on integrating wetland conservation with the biodiversity strategies and even encouraging the community participation in that area. Okay, all right. Next one is National River Conservation Plan. National River Conservation Plan. So this aims to protect the river linked wetlands and by reducing the pollution. Okay, so that is again this is also broader plan. This is regarding the biodiversity entire. This is regarding the entire rivers. Okay, all right. So this aims to protect the river linked wetlands mostly by reducing the pollution. Okay, we'll see what is a way forward. Again, we have understood what are the challenges, what are the Indian initiative, but what is the way forward, what can we do further. One is again implementing better, stronger policies. We already have those rules are there. Again, environmental laws are there regarding this, especially this rules, wetland conservation management rules of 2020. So all these things have to be implemented properly and enforced properly. Okay. Next one is sustainable management of this wetland. Promote eco-friendly agriculture, eco-friendly tourism, wetland restoration efforts, and maybe we can create some buffer zones to protect the biodiversity. All those things can be implemented. Okay. Next one is involving the communities. More communities have local communities have to be involved, especially for this tourism and all, even education, even maybe citizen initiatives. All these things, communities has to be local communities has to be involved. Next one is pollution and climate change. Okay, pollution and climate action initiative. So we have to control this industrial waste, promote better waste water treatment, enhances wetland based carbon sequestration. All these things has to be done. So it has to be more scientific. Next one is global and the regional cooperation. Global as well as a regional cooperation in this. So like Ramsar Convention itself was a global initiative. So we need to better strengthen the partnership in this international communities related to wetland. Okay, so these are some of the things which we can do way forward. Moving on to next article. Next article, it is talking regarding India's AI revolution. Okay, India. The article is saying that India is in a very pivotal moment in the AI revolution, and it's facing global competition. Global competition. Again, it was in the news regarding ChatGPT. The war was ChatGPT as well as the DeepSeek in China. So India also has to step forward. We need to accelerate innovation, or otherwise it will be hindering the growth of this AI mechanism in India. So that's what this particular article is saying, and also we have to ensure that the AI adoption is responsible. For that, we need to regulate. Whether we need to regulate or in what way we have to regulate. So that's what this article is saying. Okay, coming in the science and tech topic of science and tech part of your GS syllabus, GS3. All right, mains question: emergence of fourth industrial revolution has initiated e-governance as an integral part of government. Okay, again this will be AI. Even the fourth industrial revolution is mostly driven by AI only. All right, so we'll see what is actually the global race, global AI race. So basically, India is also India is doing many things to meet up with this global race, but it is having the challenges also. So we'll be discussing what are the, so regarding the global AI race, global artificial intelligence race, EU, European Union is adopting different countries are adopting different strategies. They have different global power dynamics, different kind of a political setup. So everything is getting what influenced for this laws also. Okay, so this European Union, they are actually implementing something a very stricter regulation for this AI when they have a comprehensive law also, comprehensive AI law. Most of the countries are not having. So it is known as European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. Okay. So this is something which is not much other countries or maybe other groups have not adopted this. Okay. So these through these they are actually regulating also, some regulating. EU is having a little more stricter AI regulation. Okay, little more stricter AI regulation. Why? Because AI can be misused. AI can be misused, and but sometimes even when we are regulating it very high, very high means innovation can be slowed also. To make a balance between this, European Union has brought in this European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. Okay, so unlike that European market, this the trade and all, it's very much complex. So they don't want to make this kind of a complexity in this AI. Why? Because different countries are involved. So they want to make a unique comprehensive mechanism for this. Okay. On the other hand, US is having this approach known as an innovation first approach. Innovation first approach. So basically it is minimal regulation. US having a little more stricter regulation. So US is having a little more free approach. Okay, innovation first. We are not regulating, but you go with innovation. Whatever innovation, it will be there. So very minimal regulation that is fostering the rapid AI development. Okay, so all these things will be leading to AI research and better commercialization. Okay, in ChatGPT and all, again that's coming from the US only. So it will be encouraging the better AI driven industries as well as but again some concerns are also there regarding the monopolization and the ethics also. For example, monopolization means companies like OpenAI, they have a monopoly in this generative AI itself. Okay. All right. Moving on to China. China again has come up with many innovative ideas like DeepSeek, which made a very huge revolution, or maybe started the war between the OpenAI as well as the Chinese companies also. Okay. So China is going with a state-driven AI supremacy. State-driven AI supremacy. Even the government investments are also very high. Government investments are also very high. But still, right? China means regulations will be there. But China is of the policy that regulations should not affect this innovation. So that is Chinese policy. Even they have brought up this also, the new generation AI development plan 2030. Okay, new generation AI development plan 2030. So this aims to make China the global leader of AI by 2030. Okay, so that's why now itself they are challenging the US dominance in the AI. But still, again, strict state controls are also there. But the problem is there are sometimes there will be conflict between whether we have to go with the strict regulation or maybe we have to go with the innovation approach. Sometimes ethical issue will be there. Even sometimes human rights concerns can also be there. So like that. DeepSeek and all, if you ask DeepSeek regarding whether Arunachal is part of India, so maybe they will not answer, or maybe after some time, after a few seconds, the answer will be gone. So too much censoring is there for this AI. Okay, so that's also there. Okay, all right. So question is, where does India fit? Where does India fit? So we have discussed regarding we have discussed regarding US, and we have discussed regarding China. So where does India fit in this particular landscape? Okay, so India is also focusing on a lot of initiative in this AI. Maybe we are not able to create something like DeepSeek or ChatGPT, but India is also moving forward in this AI, and we have come up with some important AI initiatives also. Okay, one is a National Strategy for AI, National Strategy for AI, NSAI, brought in by Nidhi Aayog in 2018 itself. 2018 itself. So through this, we want to use AI in different fields. For example, healthcare, education, agriculture, smart city, even in mobility also we want to use AI model. So again, this will be encouraging the research, even innovation, and even the skill development. Employment is also needed. So like that way, national strategy. Okay, strategy again. Mission is coming in later period. That is India AI mission. India AI mission. So basically, this will be building AI computing infrastructure. Computing infrastructure, data sets will be there. Better skilling programs will be there. So that will be the purpose of this. Okay. Another one is ensuring. Another one is a Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. So again, this is a DRDO-led initiative. DRDO, you know, right? AI for defense and cyber security. That is the main purpose. So DRDO-led initiative in AI, specialization for defense and cyber security. Okay. So basically, this is also a very much important initiative. Another one is AI supercomputing infrastructure. Very important computer is Param Siddhi supercomputer developed by SKIDAC. Okay, so this is ranked among one of the world's most powerful AI systems itself. Okay, all right. Another one is RACE, Responsible AI for Social Empowerment Summit. Okay, this was a summit which happened. Okay, so this is India's flagship AI event, which happens basically to promote ethical AI development and also inclusive AI development. Other than that, we are using, or maybe we are planning to use AI in governance, all the governance as well as the public services itself. Okay, for example, digital health services will be there. Even things like facial recognition, is there Aadhaar also we are using, predictive policing, for that also we are using this. For example, there was a new initiative like the Bhashini project. Bhashini project, it's actually something which facilitate AI driven language translation. Okay, AI driven language translation. For example, ChatGPT and all, it's coming up with even in the local Indian language as well. ChatGPT is becoming huge progress. Even DeepSeek is also making a huge progress. Okay. All right. So we'll see what are the challenges in this India's AI adoption. One is job displacement. Job displacement. Automation is displacing the routine jobs. For example, even the designing jobs is also getting displaced. Maybe in future teaching jobs will also be gone. So like that way, every job is getting under the threat of this this AI. For example, website development. In very few seconds, you can make a website. Earlier, you'll have to go to a person. You'll have to discuss with that person. He'll say your code. So now that is not needed. Okay. So job displacement is one of the major issues which is being faced. Another one is algorithm bias and discrimination. Algorithm bias and discrimination. So again, all AI system or most AI systems can have some inherent bias will be. Again, this will be leading to some unfair policy decisions will be there. Okay, so we should not completely, we are not in a position that we can completely rely on this AI. Okay, so a strong ethical framework is also necessary to ensure this fairness. And also another one is the deep fakes and misinformation. Okay, deep fakes and misinformation. So sometimes with AI generated content, we will not be able to differentiate between whether it is deep AI generated or maybe it's a something else. So this can be a tool to spread misinformation in the society when it can destabilize society. Maybe it can even um, trigger some riots or something. That can also be possible. Another one is market control by the foreign tech giants, or maybe the startups like Open AI and all. Okay, so again, global AI firms that will be dominating this place. That is also there. So we need domestic innovation is also needed. Better government support is also needed. Okay. So basically, India is standing at a very critical juncture in AI revolution as per the article, or maybe as per what you have discussed also. Okay. So we need a proper right balance, innovation and regulation to emerge as a global AI leader, especially in this competitive world. Okay. All right, moving on to next topic. This is related to ISRO's Aditya-L1 mission. ISRO's Aditya-L1 mission. So Aditya-L1, we'll discuss what is this Aditya-L1 mission. So Aditya-L1 mission is India's first solar mission. Okay, so it has captured the first ever image of the solar flare kernel. Solar flare kernel using a prop. It was suit, solar ultraviolet imaging telescope. Okay, so we'll discuss what is this Aditya-L1 mission, what is a solar flare, what is this kernel, what is the suit, all these things will be discussing. Okay. All right. Coming under the science and tech. Okay. Previous year question in this regard related to NASA's Juno mission. All right. So what is Aditya-L1 mission? Okay. So Aditya-L1 mission is India's first solar space mission. India's first solar space mission. It was launched in September 2nd, 2023. Okay, and it reached its destination in January 2024. Okay, so what is the significance of this? It is what is this L1? We need to understand what is this L1. So it's a special location in the space known as a Lagrange point. Okay, Lagrange point. It's about 1.5 million kilometer from Earth. Okay, so from here we will be getting a continuous view of the sun without being blocked by Earth's shadow. Okay, so that's why we are placing it in this L1 point. So the primary goal of this particular mission is to study the solar atmosphere, whether it be the solar corona or maybe like the new recent breakthrough, whether it be the solar wind or the solar storm. That is the main purpose of this. So we need to understand what is this Lagrange point. So see this image, Lagrange point. So in the space we have many points like many Lagrange points are there. For example, we have L1. Here it is L1 is there, L2 is there, L3 is there, L4 is there, L5 is there. Different in that circle itself we have different points known as the Lagrange point. So these are specific points in space where the gravitational force of two large orbiting bodies balance out. For example, the sun will be having gravitational force, Earth will also be having a gravitational force. Okay, so Earth will be pulling it like this, sun will be pulling it like this. Okay, at some point it has to balance so that it won't be go that way, it won't be going that way, it won't be going this way also. Okay, so that is one point, L1 point. Here also it is there, here also it is there, here also it is there, here also it is there. Okay, so to better observe sun, we cannot place it here in L2. How will we observe? It will be blocked by Earth. Here to send it here it is costly, to send it here it is costly, to send it here it is costly. So this is a very close point between Earth as well as the sun. So that is why we have selected this particular point. Okay, so that is L1 point, L1 Lagrange point. So that is where the Aditya-L1 is located. Okay, now we'll see what are the key payloads in this Aditya-L1 spacecraft. One is a VELC, Vision Emission Line Coronagram. Vision Emission Line Coronagram. So this will be, like the name suggests, it will be studying the corona. Corona means it's the outermost layer of the sun is known as a corona. Okay. Next we have the Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope. Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope, also known as a SUIT. So this will be capturing the image of the sun in ultraviolet spectrum. Okay, it's written here ultraviolet, in the ultraviolet spectrum. So this was in the news. So this only captured the that solar kernel. So a kernel in the solar flare. Okay. All right. Next one is solar low energy X-ray spectrometer. So this will be measuring the low energy X-rays emitted by the sun. Another one is high energy L1 orbiting X-ray spectrometer. Okay. So this will be measuring the high energy X-rays to study solar flares. Next one is plasma analyzer package. Okay, we have different states of matter like solid, liquid, gas. So after that we have fourth state of matter known as plasma. Okay, if we again heat gas, it will become ionized. So that ionized gas is known as plasma. Okay, sun is obviously having a lot of plasma, ionized gases there. So here it will be plasma analyzer package or PAP, that will be examining the density, temperature and composition of the solar plasma. Okay, all right. So these instruments allow scientists to analyze the solar activity and its effect on Earth's space environment. Now we'll see what is actually the recent breakthrough which happened. Okay, so what happened? So we already discussed what are the props, what are these areas and all. So what this SUIT has done. Okay, SUIT captured the first ever image of the solar flare kernel. Solar flare kernel, it's one of the most interesting, exciting discoveries of this Aditya-L1, the entire Aditya-L1 mission itself. Okay, so basically what is a solar flare? Basically what is a solar flare? Solar flare is actually a powerful explosion on the solar surface. So if an explosion is happening, means huge amounts of energy will be emitted. Okay, so these flares can again impact the space weather and sometimes even disrupting the satellites and even the communications on the Earth. Okay, so we know what is a solar flare. So what is a kernel? So kernel is actually the brightest and the hottest part of the solar flare. Okay, so this is where the energy is released maximum. Okay, so this Aditya-L1 has captured the kernel. It has captured the kernel in ultraviolet, near ultraviolet light. Okay, so that is why SUIT camera, ultraviolet light camera. Okay, so this discovery, it's a breakthrough. So this will help as a scientist understand how energy moves through different layers of sun. Okay, and how it affects the space weather also. Next one related to a disaster which happened in Uttarakhand yesterday. So 22 personnel were army personnel, where 55 civilian workers. So and in that 22 were missing. Okay, in an avalanche. So we'll be discussing what is this avalanche and what are the important organizations related with this avalanche. Okay. All right. Coming under the disaster management topic of GST. Again, a prelims question related to another disaster. Same way, questions related to avalanche can also be asked. Okay, so what is an avalanche? Avalanche is actually a rapid flow of snow. Rapid flow of snow down a slope. Okay. For example, if it's a hill, if it's a mountain, so this layer of snow will be there. Okay. So this layer of snow will be rapidly in a block itself, it will be moving down. Okay. So this is basically avalanche. A rapid flow of snow down a slope, often triggered by human or natural activity. Sometimes it can be wind, sometimes it can be some human disruption will be there. So these are the reasons why this avalanche can be caused. Okay. Typically in mountainous region, especially on the days in which heavy rainfalls are there, that time it can be used. Sometimes it can be small and sometimes it can be harmless and sometimes it can be very much large and very much destructive. It depends on the area, depends on the what is actually the volume of that part. Okay, it depends on that. Okay. So we'll see what are the major cause of this avalanche. Okay, it can either be natural cause or it can either be man-made causes. So heavy snowfall. So this will be adding the weight to the snow layers. Okay, I already told avalanche means the layer of the snow will be going down. So heavy snowfall means more and more layers. Some that will cause some instability and it will be going down. Another one is temperature variations. Okay, rapid warming, that will be weakening the snowpack. Again, that will be gone as a bulk. Another one, rainfall can also be a reason. So again, that will be increasing the weight of the snow, making it more prone to the sliding. Even tremors like earthquake tremors, again that will also be causing some shaking the snow layers. Again, that will be triggering a movement. Another one is wind loading. Okay, so wind loading means uneven snow accumulation will be there, especially in the and it will be creating some weak spots that will be there. Other than that, human induced activity, for example, human activities like recreational activities like skiing, snowboarding, so that can also be sometimes causing some shaking in the snow. Okay, so that will be disturbing, especially in the weaker spots of the snow, that will be affected. Some construction activities, again that will be also be shaking. Deforestation means that the trees will be keeping that soil intact and maybe the snow also. Okay, but here deforestation means again that will be impacted. Okay, so we'll see what are the impact of this. One, loss of lives and livelihood. So that is especially common in the mountainous region like Himalayas. And another one, destruction of infrastructure, roads, power lines, whatever is coming in between, that will be gone. Will be causing a huge environmental damage, alters the entire landscape after an avalanche. Same like earthquake or maybe any other disaster, flood or anything, it can also alter the landscape. It can even cause economic losses like tourism will be disrupted, transportation will be disrupted. So that will be ultimately causing more economic damage. Okay, so we'll see what are some of the key institutions associated with this avalanche prediction as well as avalanche disaster management. Okay, one is snow and avalanche study establishment, and this is again under defense only, DRDO. So they'll be providing avalanche warnings will be there, early avalanche warnings and forecasts will be there. So mostly they'll be using the satellite data and even the automated weather forecasting will be there. So here another organization, obviously IMD will be there. IMD will be like it will be giving alerts for even floods, it will be like giving alerts for cyclones, everything. So here also IMD will also be giving alerts to this thing. And obviously in every disaster, NDMA is also very important part. Okay, National Disaster Management Authority. So they are also playing a very important part in this NDMA, and obviously related to that, NDRF is also the National Disaster Response Force will also be coming into play. Okay. All right. So some of the major initiatives regarding this avalanche, what disaster mitigation, avalanche monitoring and early warning system. We have discussed SASC. Yeah. Snow and avalanche study establishment by DRDO. That's a very important model. Satellite imageries will be used. Even infrastructure will be in such a way that again it will be avalanche resistance will be there. More trees will be planted. Avalanche, afforestation will be happening. So that is also one of the major reasons in which we can include that. Okay, better satellite based forecasting, involvement of ISRO for this, use of drones for surveillance of this, and even mapping is also can also be done. We can collaborate with more other organizations like World Meteorological Organization and even International Center for International Mountain Development. So they are mostly into this avalanche studies and all. So we can seek their help also for these things. Okay, all right. So that's regarding avalanche. So moving on to the main practice question, again from the wetland topic only. Okay, urbanization and industrialization are major threats to wetlands in India. Analyze impact of these activities on wetland ecosystems and suggest policy level interventions for sustainable management. Okay, so how you have to answer this question? So first you have to define. Wetland is a very technical term only, so you have to define what is this wetland. Okay, so after that, what is asked there? Urbanization and industrialization. We can combine it together, or maybe we can write it separately also. Okay, so they are the major threats to wetland in India. You have to analyze this impact of the activity. Okay, so statistics is very important. So we have to go with either, we have already discussed like statistics and all. So we have to use that statistics. So what is the impact of urbanization? Encroachment, pollution, the hydrographics will be altered. So all these things you can write. Impact of industrialization, again pollution is one issue, groundwater depletion is another one, mining related things, that also you can write. Okay, again what we can do, policy level interventions. Okay, so here you can include the government level policies, conservation, wetland conservation management rules you can incorporate. So like that way we can include the government initiatives also. Okay, and finally you can conclude with why is it why the conservation is needed, why there should be a sustainable urbanization to protect the sustainable urbanization, sustainable tourism, sustainable, everything should be sustainable to protect the wetlands. Okay, all right, moving on to prelims practice questions. So these are the prelims practice questions of yesterday's daily news analysis. Okay, all right, so this is related to olive ridley turtles. Gahirmada Marine Sanctuary in Odisha is the world's largest rookery for olive ridley turtles. Okay, so that's correct. Olive ridley turtles are listed under Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, so this is not correct. Operation Olive is conducted by Indian Coast Guard to safeguard olive ridley populations during the nesting season. So that is also correct. Statement 2 is not correct because it is under the Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act and not Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, so 1 is correct, 2 is wrong, 3 is correct. So the correct answer is 1 and 3 only. Okay, all right. Next one. Consider the following statements regarding Hague Service Convention adopted by Hague Conference on Private International Law (HCCH). It applies only to criminal matters involving cross-border legal processes. The convention simplifies and standardizes the process of serving judicial documents. Okay, the wrong answer is it applies only to criminal matters involving cross-border legal process. It is not only related to this. Not only related to criminal matters involving, but other matters also. Okay, that is the correct answer. Next one. With reference to Champagam Dorairajan case 1951, consider the following statement. The case challenged caste-based reservation in education under Madras government's communal. That is correct only. Supreme Court ruled that reservations violated Article 15 of Indian Constitution. That's not correct. It is actually Article 29(2). 29(2) related to minorities. Okay. So second statement is wrong. Verdict led to First Amendment of Indian Constitution, which introduced Clause 4 to Article 15. So based on the Supreme Court ruling, to bypass that only the government did this. Okay, all right. First Amendment allowed the state to make special provisions for advancement of socially and educationally backward class. That's also correct. Okay, second statement is wrong. Rest of the three statements are correct. Okay, so correct answer is 1, 3 and 4. Alright, so these are the prelims practice questions of yesterday's daily news analysis. So these are the prelims practice questions of today's daily news analysis. So you can go to our website navigator.naranaias.com. So there we will be providing you the questions in a tab itself, special tab itself. So you can attempt that question there. So we'll be discussing the answers of this particular questions in tomorrow's daily news analysis. Okay. All right. So we have already discussed one. I've already shown you this question, a simple quiz in the beginning of the session. So hope you have commented your answers in the chat box. Okay, so this is related to RBI. What is the name of the committee that recommended the creation of RBI? Malhotra Committee, Hilton Young Commission, Narasimham Committee, Rajan Committee. Okay, so again, this is an innovation of Britishers only. Okay, RBI is an innovation of Britishers only. So, Hilton Young Commission. It's also known as the Royal Commission of Indian Currency and Finance. Okay, so that was in 1920, set up in 1926 to examine India's monetary system, and finally it recommended some financial reforms also. So, the committee also recommended that we need to introduce a central bank like Reserve Bank of India. So, correct answer is Hilton Young Commission. Okay, all right. So, that's it for today's daily news analysis. So, we have already discussed four important topics from four important news articles from today's news. Okay, all right. So, we'll see you tomorrow. That's it for today. Thank you.